Purdue University is continuing to double down on its presence in Indianapolis with a vision that could reshape not only Purdue, but the future of higher education in Indiana. Former Purdue President Mitch Daniels played a key role in the separation of Purdue and IU from IUPUI into separate institutions and is back as interim president. For this bonus episode of the Business and Beyond podcast, I sat down with him to talk about what Purdue Indianapolis can become and why it matters to Indianapolis and Indiana. Mitch, you're back at Purdue as interim president at really, I think one could argue, a pivotal moment as this transition that's occurring here in Indianapolis that you were such an important part of making happen. When you look at the Indianapolis campus today, how far along is this compared to where you hoped it would be at this point?
The early essential steps, I think, have been really well taken. Mm-hmm. That means doing right by the students who are already here. We have about one more class to, as they say, teach out successfully. Mm-hmm. And moving the faculty, making the moves that will lift it up to West Lafayette standards. So it's important to keep reminding people this isn't some separate campus. It's not a regional campus. It is part of the main campus. So the faculty and student requirements and standards are all the same. And that job has been done pretty quickly. I think the opportunity that's here is to grow the number of students a little more quickly than the current track. And I think with what we can offer here and what the city of Indianapolis business community offers in terms of internships and a variety of job opportunities is a great selling point.
Why is Purdue and Indianapolis important for the university?
I think we want to offer our students even more than we already do, work experience that parallels their study. The whole world of education understands now how important that is. And we've done a lot of things at West Lafayette. Discovery Park District, which you've visited many times, has a lot of new businesses. But to tap into the business environment here, and viewed from the other side, the business environment in Indianapolis has been clamoring for more engineers, computer scientists, and the things that Purdue excels in. So to me, yes, it's very important to our university. It's also one of the best things that could happen to Indianapolis in its next era.
Yeah, you kind of answered it there, but why is Purdue and Indianapolis important for Indianapolis and more broadly important for Indiana?
In an economy that is almost entirely tech-driven, Purdue is producing more STEM graduates in absolute numbers than any university in the country, and to have more of them here in proximity to, and I hope in direct engagement with some of our local businesses, can be a great infusion of talent. And something that has been a preoccupation of mine for a long time, the brain gain possibilities here. Purdue is attracting spectacular young talents from all over America. And right now, best we can measure, something like 1 in 5 maybe takes their first job in Indiana of those students. What if we make that 1 in 4, 1 in 3 by the opportunities that Indy Metro represents? Mm-hmm. There's no quicker way to add to the, collective candle power of our state.
As you look at the potential that Purdue and Indianapolis has for maybe changing the perception of Indianapolis as a tech center, as a high-tech hub, if you will, is that possibility out there?
Absolutely. And, the faculty who will come here, the faster we grow, the faster we'll have more research of the kind at which Purdue excels, not just in the information sciences, but the life sciences, biomedical engineering, things at which our people are the tops in the world. And to have that not an hour away, but right here in town will put us on the map. Indianapolis has been for a long time, I think I'm right, the biggest city without a major R1 university. And now we're going to bring one. We're bringing one here.
Yeah. You talk about that connection between Purdue and the business community here, that direct connection. How does that go from being something that sounds great, that's aspirational, to something that's real, that's reality? Are you seeing that beginning to happen?
Yeah, it's real today. Before we made the the final decision to come here, the first thing I did was talk to business leaders across the spectrum, from the Lillys and Elenkos and Roches down to the high alphas and the startups at that end. And every single one of them said, how soon can you get here? How soon can we begin enlisting interns and recruiting your students as employees? And so we've got one of our best people. That's the full-time job, is to pair up students as their number grows here with those opportunities.
As you look at this moment in time for Purdue and for Indiana, people always talk about transformational moments and a tipping point and that kind of thing. But as you look at what's happening here on campus in downtown Indianapolis, you look at the Leap District with the investment that Lilly's making there and on up 65 to the West Lafayette campus. How important a time do you think this is for the Indiana economy in terms of what can be 5, 10, 15 years down the road?
It's always tempting to say there's never been a more important time. This might be true. This might be one of those, Gary, where it is true. The world is being driven so swiftly in the direction of high tech by the artificial intelligence explosion and everything that feeds into it, that a state has got to be somewhere in the competition, hopefully at the front edge of that. Now, with our Purdue's leadership in semiconductors, the first country in the, the first university in the country with a full suite of those degrees, with SK Hynix, which is there specifically because of Purdue. They're one of the leading semiconductor companies in the world with their first U.S. major investment. And Purdue is the first country with an AI competency requirement to graduate. We don't pretend to know everything, and who does, what AI will mean in terms of the educational system or the broader economy. But we know that Indiana better be a competitor in that respect, better, hopefully a leader. And we think Purdue has a huge duty to help shape that, given who we are and what we do. So we've already been attracted to SK Hynix investment, one of the major semiconductor companies of the world. First big U.S. investment next to our campus. We're the first university with a whole suite of semiconductor degrees. We're the first university with an AI competency requirement to graduate. So we, again, don't make any pretense that we see the future clearly, but we know that the states that succeed and the regional economies that succeed will be those that are participants, hopefully leaders in that realm.
As you look more broadly at higher education, and your perspective, I think, is unique, being a university president, former governor, senior level executive. What's the biggest challenge facing higher education now, and how is Purdue? What things is Purdue doing to address that?
Yeah, if I was speaking on behalf of another university, I'd probably talk about the plummeting number of students, first of young people in the country, and the steeper drop in the number, presently at least, saying they want to attend college. That's not a Purdue problem. We're still swamped in applications from all over the country, and still growing. So we share, though, with the rest of higher ed and the rest of the world, a lot of uncertainty about what AI means. Can we use it in ways that make the higher ed experience even more valuable, or will it replace much of what we do? We believe that maybe the most prescient observation on this subject is, don't worry that AI will replace your job. Worry that you'll be replaced by someone who can use AI better than you can. And to the extent that is an accurate forecast, then we expect the Boilermakers to be in that latter category.
Yeah. Final question for you is that to kind of look out to the future and what success looks like for Purdue and Indianapolis as you look out 10 years down the road or perhaps beyond. What is success?
Success will be several thousand of the brightest young people from Indiana and everywhere else studying here, maybe not all 4 years. Maybe it's their fourth year after 3 years in West Lafayette, capping it off by coming here to finish their degree while working in a central Indiana business success is that a high percentage of those young people take that first job and eventually put their roots down here with us, enriching the smarts quotient of our state in a measurable way. And it means a more booming local economy because of the talent and the research that Purdue uniquely, I think, has the capability to bring here.
Mitch Daniels, it's always great to see you.
Likewise.
Thanks for the time.
As a bank, PNC prides itself on being boring. But the truth is they couldn't be more excited to serve the dynamic Indianapolis community. For nearly 160 years, they've quietly toiled away to deliver brilliant results for their equally brilliant clients. They have dedicated PNC teams throughout the local area all ready to do the boring work to help you unlock your own brilliance. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association member FDIC.
We build Indiana. The Laborers International Union of North America builds and maintains roads, bridges, and other essential infrastructure that make us the crossroads of America. So thanks to LIUNA members' work, Hoosiers have a better quality of life, like access to utilities, easier routes to jobs, schools, or medical care, and deliveries keep moving. We build Indiana for good jobs and stronger communities. The Laborers International Union of North America. We are LIUNA.